professionalism.
Awesome. We'll start with
Hello, good evening. My name is Austin Schweiker, and I'm a junior from Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm happy to be running with the Card Vision slate. As EVP, I will work hard to make SGA more transparent and efficient as possible. During my time here at the university, I've been able to serve on A&S Council as a freshman, and then as treasurer my sophomore year. I was also able to serve on the Admissions and Appeals Committee, and am currently the Arts and Sciences President and Facilities Chairman. As chair of the Facilities Committee, I was able to create an act with Travis Gold to help create an academic building on the Belknap campus. This act has passed through E-Board unanimously and will soon find its way to the Senate for final approval. My time here at the university has been involved with SGA, and I believe that I've created a stepping ladder, making my way up from the ground levels of a freshman council to the council president. And because of that, I think that's given me the experience needed to see firsthand how a council works. And I think bringing that unique perspective to a top 4 position will help me in making councils more successful. I also look forward to sharing some of my platform ideas with you this evening, and I'm glad that you all came out this evening.
All right, thank you, Austin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Shane, and I'm running for Student Government Executive Vice President at Cards Unite slate. I came to U of L from Midwest City, Oklahoma, a small town in the middle of Oklahoma. And everyone always asks me, why did I come to U of L? And the answer is always the same. This is where my dad went to school. This is where my family went to school. I was proud to be the only person in my high school who rooted for the Louisville Cards. Even though I was made fun of it by everyone else there, I was proud. And there was no choice, or there was no second guessing where I was going to go to college at. I'm currently in my 6th year at the University of Louisville, just starting my PhD in electrical and computer engineering. And it's been quite a fun time while I've been here. I've been involved with many organizations, including being the head coordinator for Leadership Advantage, one of the founding members of Colleges Against Cancer, and the event chairman for the Relay for Life, one of the founding starting members of Relay for Life here at the University of Louisville. Ever since I've been a freshman, I've been involved with student councils, and by some measure, I've almost always been involved with SGA. In my junior year, I served as the Director of Finances for Speed School Student Council, and then in my senior year, I served as the President. Senior and Master's year, I served as the President of the Speed School Student Council. This most recent year, I've been serving as the Graduate Student Council's Travel Administrator. Since I've been a senator in SGA as President and as the Travel Administrator, I served as the Appropriations Committee Chair for 1 year, and then this most recent year, I've been the Senate's Parliamentarian, which is a brand new position that we created this year. So I have some experience with SGA, and I've always loved being involved with SGA. I feel like my experiences that I've had have made me uniquely qualified for this position. Just a year ago, I was an undergrad and professional student, and this year I'm facing some of the issues that graduate and non-traditional students have to face. So I feel like I can relate to those very well. I look forward into the next.
All right. One thing this year, as you both know, serving SGA this past year, is the SGA Constitution went through a very radical rewriting process. One of the moves of that was to make the SGA Senate a more independent branch from the rest of the organization. So the question is, what will you do as EVP to work with the Senate Speaker, to score on the parliamentarian to help create cohesion between branches? And start by.
Well, this year I was the parliamentarian, and I had a lot of experience working with the Constitution's revision with Travis Gold, with Paul Nick, and with Brendan. I chaired many of the meetings where we discussed the Constitution. I agree wholeheartedly with many of the different things that we did. One of the most important things that needs to be done, though, is the SGA Constitution that is posted online needs to be the most up-to-date version of it, because right now it's not. It's a really simple fix, and it's really ridiculous that that fix needs to be made, but it does. As far as being able to work with the other branches, though, I feel like this semester I have a pretty good experience being able to work. I've worked with Pooja Sangboy, the executive vice president right now, with Paul, the speaker, and with many different branches. And I feel like right now this new constitution has us on the way to a very cohesive functionality within SGA of the 3 different branches. All 3 branches are very well defined with their rights and what they're able to do. I feel like this constitution is going to take us into a very good era of a lot of functionality between the branches of SGA.
I agree. One of the biggest challenges with us with the new constitution is going to be creating a way for the historian, the speaker of the Senate, and the parliamentarian to work together. And just being on a council, sitting in e-board meetings, and going to Senate meetings, you can see that there is a need for that. And creating like a group of people, or a group so that they can meet beforehand and get things accomplished will help alleviate a lot of the tasks that the EVP had typically had to do previously. And in doing so, the EVP will be able to spend more time advocating for students to different faculty and staff.
I agree with what Austin said, and actually one of the things I like about the new constitution is it takes away a lot of the clerical responsibilities of the EVP and allows the EVP to focus on things that sometimes the EVP doesn't have time to focus on, things like facilities on campus and relating SGA to the students. And that's one thing that I really want to focus on this next year is more of the outward. I like the idea of working with the Senate, and I will keep everything that's been done by Pooja this year going and continue to work on improving our relationships between Senate and the executive board. But I really like to focus on more of the outward and the more exterior things that the executive vice president needs to work on.
One of the EVP's major roles is to help oversee the expenditures and finance of the SGA. What areas do you think SGA needs to make cuts, and where do you think more money needs to be spent within SGA? And Austin.
We know firsthand that the SGA budget was constrained very much this year. A lot of our staff did take pay cuts in order to still provide the resources that we need to for students. And at a lot of universities, student government officials actually don't get paid. The senators don't. The top 4 does, but the senators don't. We use it as a way for accountability with our remuneration policy. So I think that still giving senators some pay, but also keeping it as something that they're actually advocating for and want to do themselves will help provide more money for different programming areas. And one of those ways that I can see the money being rerouted is through CPC funding, travel funding, as well as special events, because those are the funding areas where students are actually seeing the money firsthand and it's helping them.
I'd like to address this question in a kind of odd fashion, but one of the big things I like to do is looking at bringing in new revenue to SGA to help out with the fact that our budget won't be changing in the next year. We get the same amount of money from the administration every year, and so we're not able to focus things around a lot. I like the idea of us cutting the senator or cutting the pay, and actually this year we've been able to we paused the pay. Normally tuition has to increase every year, but this year we'll only be paying the standard tuition rate. But I'd like to look at bringing in more revenue for SGA through the currently we have the U of L mobile promotion, and this has the potential to make us up to it's made other universities $180,000 a year, and this could be a great deal of money that we're able to use to work on current and continuing projects for SGA. And I also like to talk with local companies about ways to get revenue through partnerships with them. Other things that can be done to cut budgeting or to cut space in the budget is cutting down on the amount of what was done this year to even more extent cutting down on the amount of free things that are given away at different events, cutting down on free food, and just trying to cut the fat out around the budget.
I agree that it's a great idea to look outside of the university and student government itself to find revenue. As Mike had mentioned before, the University will go mobile. I encourage all of you to sign up if you haven't already, because it creates revenue for the university for every text message that you get sent. And those text messages are offers for students at local businesses around the university that give you great deals. And then we also have the contingency budget, which is on the line for this year, which is also another source of income, although it would increase fees for students, which at the same time is something we have to look into and see if that is of value. And currently, we're looking for an officer to help endow certain things within student government. By endowing certain programs, although it wouldn't be immediate, it would be in the long run a great way to endow special events so that money can be used at different things every year. And as Mike had mentioned previously, as well as frivolous spending, our council was probably, Arts and Science is probably one of the councils that had the highest amount of frivolous spending. With our art show, we give away lots of prizes, and with our lunch, we didn't provide food. This year, Amy Penny, one of our senators, has done a great job with finding outside sources for food for our art show, which has cut our budget down greatly. And so looking at different areas to do that would be a great way to supplement.
Actually, also reminded me of something else. I was talking to some of the senators about ideas that they had of where we could find new sources at, and one of the things is, when I sat on chair of appropriations committee, that means that I was responsible, or the committee and I were responsible with coming up with a budget that tried to please as many people as possible in SGA. And one of the things is, whenever a council comes in and defends their budget, you find that a lot of councils at the end of the year rush to spend all of their budgeted amount of money because they're afraid that their budget will be cut in the next year. And one of the things that we've been talking about was finding a way to, instead of have councils rush to buy items for promotional items or replace appliances in their office that don't really need replacement, instead finding a way to reward the council for having that money left over, but also by giving them some of that money back in the next year. And also be able to take some of that money and apply it to other areas of SGA's budget. Doing so would make it so that there was less frivolous spending at the end of the year, and that council got a reward for being frugal with their spending that year in different areas for coming in under budget, and then also got a reward for the next year.
This year's SGA Senate has been one of the most productive Senates we've had in years. It passed a lot of resolutions that got a lot of work done, I should say. The EVP is technically the president of the Senate and voting powers. What would you as EVP do to make sure that the Senate is productive? How would you work with the Senate to ensure that all senators are playing their role in the Senate? So,
One of the ideas that I have is to revamp the way we keep senators accountable for their action or for their responsibilities. Right now, the only accountability that is solid is the remuneration policy, and it penalizes senators for not monetarily in their payment for not completing their assigned responsibilities. Unfortunately, this doesn't work too well because senators really they don't get paid a great deal of money, and most people don't become senators for the pay. It's not a whole lot of money, but you become a senator because you like the job, you like the idea of helping out the university. And so I'd like to come up with a way to reward senators for going above and beyond what a normal senator would do. Everyone likes to hear, good job and, job well done, to have their name posted on the website or in a episode of CarCast. I'd like to see more congratulations and more positive reinforcement given to senators who do extra work. And I feel like that would motivate other senators to do more work and to continue on. Because I think the reason why our Senate and our SGA this year has been so productive is because there have been senators who are more than willing to go above and beyond what other senators are doing. And there have been executive cabinet members and there have been staff that are more than willing to do more than what people have done in the past. And I think that those people deserve the recognition, and I think that once they get that recognition, that other people will want to participate more also.